Okay, everyone. Whoa, that's loud. Good morning. Please come on in, take a seat. There's plenty of seats up near the front. There's plenty of seats in the two side wings. Um, I think it's about time we get started. We had a little bit of a delay at registration this morning, for which I do apologize. Let's see. All right. Well, I'd like to welcome everyone to NANOG 66. All right. We're just teeing up our presentation. There we are. So I'd like to welcome everyone to NANOG 66. My name is Dan Golding. I'm the chairman of NANOG's board of directors. Other folks who are up here are Al Bergio, who's our host sponsor from Console IX, and Tony Tauber, who's the chair of the NANOG PC. So again, welcome to NANOG 66. This is looking so far to be our second largest NANOG conference ever out of 66, which is pretty awesome. So thanks everyone for coming out. So we've got a great diverse audience here. NANOG is sort of a unique beast in terms of networking conferences. This isn't a vendor conference. This isn't an enterprise conference. This isn't a content conference. We've got folks from vendors. We have folks from content providers. We have folks from broadband networks. We have folks from the research and educational community. You name it, they're pretty much here. We also have folks from, we have students here. We have every kind of folks who touch internet networking here, and that's part of what makes NANOG strong. A second piece that makes NANOG really important is the fact that we are, as far as we know, the only North American networking conference with a truly peer-reviewed program that includes the general content, which will be in this room, the various tracks, our tutorials, which are, I've looked at the agenda, they're really excellent. I encourage everyone, including folks who are experienced network engineers, to take a good look at those tutorials. The peering personal sessions, and the best way to look at this, for old timers, we're used to having a little piece of agenda paper in our IDs or whatever, or look in the NANOG webpage. I strongly recommend using the guidebook app for both Android and iPhone. It's really awesome because it gives you two things. Not only does it give you the agenda as well as locations, and it's updated if something changes, it also lets you put in your reviews. You can rate talks directly in the guidebook app, which is pretty awesome. Another great thing that we have at this NANOG that we've done for I think 3 or 4 NANOGs now is the college immersion program. So there are some students here who've come with their professors who are studying network engineering, network development, other areas that impact NANOG. Are there any folks here from the college immersion program? Raise your hands. Oh, there we are. So students, thank you for coming out here. We really appreciate it. So to other attendees, they are here to learn. It is educational, but recruiting is always fair game. So have at it. Vendor neutrality is a really important part of NANOG. Our sponsors are incredibly important to us. They're the underpinnings of the network world, but we do try to keep, especially within the general session rooms, a fairly strict sense of vendor neutrality, and that's one of the great things about NANOG. That being said, I'd like to recognize that we do have a great set of premium and individual meeting sponsors, one of the things you may notice when you register for NANOG is the registration fee is kind of low when you compare it to other networking conferences. It's not $1,000, it's not $2,000. And the reason why it's low and why it's stayed low for many, many years now is because our sponsors have been helping us out, and we really do appreciate that. So thank you, sponsors. Yeah. So what to expect at NANOG 66? So we are arranged physically a little bit different than we have been in the past. Number one is that we've got a few different venues, and some of them are outside. Now I know some of my friends here saying, yes, I'm sorry, Mr. Provo, some of it's outside. There's the sun, which is a large fusion reactor, yellow in color. It can burn us, so we do want to be careful of that. But the weather, I've been told, is beautiful outside. So we've got a couple of different venues. One is the pavilion. The pavilion is that way. It's the big white tent. And it's where we're going to have our lunches. And it's where we're going to have some of our other events. It's pretty awesome, and we really like it. The beer and gear is going to be in there. And the greatest thing about this space is it's huge, so we're not going to be crammed in like sardines. Our breaks, normally we would have breaks in the hallway directly outside the general session room. As you can see, it's a hallway, so we really don't want to do that. Instead, there's what they call the Bayview Lawn, which is this little park that's about 50 feet outside the door. So we're going to have food, high tops, drinks, all of that stuff out on the lawn so that people aren't crammed into the hallway. Just be careful of the sun, it's kind of tricky. Other great things we have, the espresso bar is right outside that door for your choice of caffeinated beverage. We've got open seating. The open seating is downstairs. So this is the second floor. There's a floor underneath. There's 2 stairwells. There's an outdoor stairwell right over there. There's an indoor stairwell right that way. You can use either to go down below, and there's lots and lots of seating for people to hang out, talk with vendors, smack talk on IRC, all the stuff we love. We also have 2 special invitation events coming up. One is the newcomers lunch, and if you are new to NANOG, we really encourage you to come to the newcomers lunch. It's a way to meet some of what we call NANOG veterans to help you get the best out of the conference, and that's going to be downstairs as well as the members breakfast. And we are going to be talking to some folks here to help us with the newcomers lunch, so please come on out. So other stuff to expect. We've got some social events, peering personals, beer and gear. Those are both going to be in the pavilion, which is the big white tent. And we've also got socials scheduled. We had one last night, and we have socials on Monday and Tuesday. For folks here who are NANOG members, and of course everyone here is an attendee at the NANOG conference, but some folks actually are NANOG members, about 250 of the attendees. You get 2 great benefits that are new to this conference. One is priority registration, which, judging from registration this morning, was quite a benefit. The second is at Beer and Gear. Normally, of course, we have beer, and we've recently added wine. But if you're a NANOG member, you also have 2 tickets in your badge for mixed drinks. Woohoo! Right. So we finally have found a benefit that members really like. We also have something really cool, which is Monday and Tuesday evening and Wednesday at lunchtime. We're running a shuttle to the Gas Lamp District. That's not associated with the social events. That's just a shuttle that we've got. So if you'd like to go down and explore the Gas Lamp District in some of your free time, just catch the shuttle and ride it down there and ride it back. It's exclusively for attendees at the NANOG conference. So who is everyone? So once upon a time, we just had badges. Now we have a color combinatory explosion to tell you who is who. Some of this is useful, some is not. It depends who you are. Please thank our premium meeting sponsors. They're really, really important. Please say hello to our college immersion program members and maybe ask for their resumes. If there's anything you need, please talk to a board member, a committee member, one of our members of our professional staff. Please take the time to say hello to all of the newcomers to our conference. And definitely, there are a couple members of the press here. So if you're having a confidential discussion, maybe look a little bit for that pink ribbon. So again, I'd like to welcome everyone. Just a few quick statistics. We have so this says 1,062. I think we'll probably exceed that number. We may even reach 1,100. Of those, approximately 250 are attending their first NANOG meeting. We've got 12 college immersion participants. We've got an additional 20 students of various kinds attending. And we've got 255 out of the 361 NANOG members attending this conference. So I just want to give a special thanks. I'm not sure if Raj from AT&T is here, but thank you. Oh, thank you so much. One of the things that makes this conference possible is that we have connectivity sponsors. As you might guess, NANOG's normal connectivity requirements absolutely destroy hotel networks. There's no hotel network we've ever found that can withstand 5 minutes of the sustained downloading, trash talking, and fun that goes on the NANOG network. So we rely on a few connectivity partners like AT&T to come in and land huge circuits, the size of which have never been seen at most of these hotels. Sometimes there's complex engineering work involved. So I want to thank Raj and I want to thank AT&T. And one of the great legacies that NANOG leaves at these hotels is the fiber facilities that the carriers install, of course, stay here. And so that's great for either when we come back or for when the hotels decide to actually get reasonable internet service. So we want to say also thanks to all of our sponsors, in particular our host, connectivity, premium, and infrastructure sponsors. Of course, Al Bergio is here with Console, Raj with AT&T. We'd like to thank Adrex, Microsoft, NTT VeriSign, Windstream, Netflix, Google, Aaron, Miller PR, Server Central, and Dyn. These are folks who either provide support to the NANOG program all year, or they're folks who provide infrastructure or support services in kind. We really, really appreciate everything that they do for NANOG and for the community. So all that being said, I'd like to introduce the host for NANOG 66, Al Bergio, the founder and CEO of Console. Al?
Thank you, Dan. So yeah, my name is Al Bergio. I'm CEO and founder of Console. The name, for many of you, may be new. It's because actually our company was originally founded under the name of IIX back in 2011. Before I guess provide some overview into our company and why we're here, I wanted to really thank NANOG. It's been, both for myself personally, attending over the past few years, quite an enjoyable experience. Have had the opportunity to learn a lot, meet a lot of great people. So I would definitely encourage a lot of the newcomers that are here to make use and reach out to people, ask questions. I found that experience quite useful over the years. So I'm assuming it's this button.
The big green button.
All right.
It's that big green one right there.
Oh, that one, okay. All right, cool. San Diego. So I don't know why, but the first time I heard the name San Diego in relation to NANOG 66, I thought of the anchorman Ron Burgundy, being from San Diego. But in all seriousness, it's a great place. I've had an opportunity to spend a bit of time out here. Obviously, there's a large Navy presence here as well. It's a lot of fun. I'm sure that over the course of the next few days, many of you will be able to enjoy a lot of the festivities that are in store in the local area. So as I mentioned, none of this obviously is meant to be salesy, but I'd like to just introduce our organization to help provide some perspective and understanding into what we do. Just a few months ago, we actually introduced the name Console into the marketplace. So you may have seen some of our folks hovering around some of the recent events and so forth. But to provide you some insight in terms of how we've evolved as a company, as I mentioned, we were originally founded under the name of IIX, but we have some deeper roots beyond just what we've accomplished at IIX for the past few years. We're really a combination of three organizations that have come together through some acquisitions over the past couple of years. One, Allegro, a company by the name of Allegro that some of you may know, and another company by the name of IX Reach. Our purpose for doing this was to really accelerate our global footprint expansion, and we really looked to identify organizations that were similar in many respects to what we were doing as a company. We're focused on what we like to refer to as software-defined interconnection, really with a view in helping the enterprises. Obviously, many of the folks here in attendance are brilliant when it comes to internet architecture and networking and so forth, and the provisioning associated with that. But we were looking at many of the enterprises in the marketplace with an interest in wanting to connect directly to other organizations and seeing ways that we could potentially help them with not just with the infrastructure we have, but with various technology that we've created. Virtual routing technology that we refer to as a cloud router. And our focus is really around helping automate at both a layer 2 perspective and from a layer 3 configuration with what we've done. Thanks to both organic growth and inorganic growth, today we have over 150 points of presence across 23 countries, really something that we've been able to accomplish in a relatively short period of time. We're recruiting. It's been, part of the great experience here is some of the folks that we've had the opportunity to meet. It's, now fast forward to where we are today. I've had a very fortunate privilege to now work with many of these great individuals, and so if you're interested in what we do, we'd love to talk to you. And that concludes the presentation. We do have a social this evening at Stone Brewery, along with a couple other organizations, and I'd love to personally meet many of you if we haven't met before. So again, thank you. Hope you enjoy NANOG 66.
Great. And now to open our agenda, I'd like to introduce Tony Tauber, the chair of the NANOG Program Committee. Tony?
Thanks, Dan and Al. So just a couple of brief words about the program committee, what we do, and the program in general. These are the members that I'd like to appreciate all their hard work over the last several months, getting the program assembled, soliciting content, reviewing it, working closely with submitters and the NANOG staff to get everything to where it needs to be. Several of these folks, including me, will be departing the program committee after this meeting, so special thanks to them, particularly Michael Sinatra, Manish Karir, and Greg Hankins, who, besides me, are all on their way out. But I want to encourage, we'll be selecting, the board will be selecting a new bunch of replacement folks, and we've got a good group of candidates, but I'd like to encourage people who think that they're interested in this, for the future, to talk to me or other people on the program committee about what's involved. It's been excellent for me professionally, and I think the other people could attest as well to, seeing the content, meeting people across the industry, really sort of enriching your own social and professional network. So please reach out if you think you'd be interested in doing this, because it's very rewarding. As Dan noted, there's the guidebook that's got the agenda stuff. You might have to refresh if changes are made to get the most up-to-date stuff, but it's really a lot better than the old printed paper stuff. The agenda icons, so most of the sessions will be recorded and webcast. There's a couple of exceptions. We only have the ability to webcast one thing at a time, so the ones that aren't live webcasts mostly will be recorded, but again, look at the agenda and you'll see a little icon that says recorded, webcast, and so forth. And the ones that aren't live broadcasts will be archived in addition to the live ones. And it's a great thing that YouTube hosts all the content, and it's easily referable, and great work by Verilan, who's our AV partner, to get the stuff up on YouTube, usually kind of the same day, so that they work very hard at it. Tracks and tutorials also will mostly be recorded. And just a few words about the Q&A. So we've got microphones in each of the aisles. There's 3 different ones. When the time comes near the end of the presentation to come up and ask a question or make a comment, please don't speechify really, but we ask that you identify yourself and your affiliation, and be respectful to the presenters and your co-audience folks. Surveys. So in trying, in the spirit of continuous improvement, we'd like to get your feedback about the program, other aspects of the meeting, food, venue, so forth, but particularly giving us feedback about the presentations you see, whether you find them useful, And then we take in there's I think some free form areas for things you'd like to see in the future, content ideas, and presenters to reach out to. That's really useful and important to the program committee. I mean, there's lots of stuff out there that we haven't even tapped. So I think you know, if you've got something in mind that you've read about, heard at another conference, seen in a journal or some publication, please share it with us, and you know, we can try and reach out to that person or make an introduction. That would be very helpful. And to help promote that, some sponsors have kindly donated some prizes that'll be drawn to survey. Survey respondents will be entered in a drawing, and we'll present the prizes that people have kindly donated. So more motivation to do that.